See anything?
What?
Well, you know, the upstairs maid peeling off a pair of silk cami knickers. The master of the house tiptoeing out of the cook's bubble bath.
Take a look, John.
My God, who'd have believed it 50 years ago?
Believed what?
That I'd be sitting here, bored rigid, watching you two stare at someone's entrails through a little pea shooter with a light on the end. I mean, there used to be a time when surgeons were surgeons.
Well, personally, I like all this new technology.
Thank you. At least someone's considering the patient's welfare.
A few years ago, if someone came in with something wrong with them, you had to open them up to have a look. Hundreds of instruments and blood all over the place. Nowadays, you just make a little incision, you pass the tube down.
Exactly.
It's cut down on the washing up just like that.
Giles, what are you doing?
Oh, well, you asked me to have a look at the appendix.
You have a look at it, not establish its religion.
Sorry.
Michael, can you set up for the next patient?
Well, what's the verdict?
It seems all right, nothing wrong with it.
Good! Nothing wrong with it. Now, Mr. Copeland, who doesn't do laparoscopies, would have opened this patient up and removed the appendix anyway. What do you think of that?
Well,
Excuse me?
It's obvious what he thinks, isn't it? When he's working with you, he thinks it's a really bad system.
Nonsense! Giles knows when I ask him a question, it's because I want an honest opinion.
Excuse me?
Sister, would you mind? Well, Giles?
Oh, well, I suppose it's a bad system, really.
Thank you. That's exactly what I thought.
There's a cockroach on the floor by the swab rack.
What?
Over there, on the floor, crawling about.
Well, that's wiped the smile off one or two faces, hasn't it?
Cockroach!
It's all right, there's no need to panic. It's only a little insect.
In my theatre!
I know. They don't care, do they? They wander in, no mask, no gloves, nothing.
Well, you're the biggest. Get rid of it.
What?
Pick it up. Flush it away in the sluice room.
Ah,
Well, go on.
yeah, can't someone else pick it up?
Oh, it's only an insect. It's hardly going to rip your arm off, is it?
Giles.
Well, I would normally, of course, but...
If anyone's interested, I think I'm going to faint.
Well, if you don't like picking them up, just go over and tread on it.
Sheila, I'm a doctor. I don't believe in killing things.
Jonathan, the Hippocratic Oath does not apply to cockroaches.
Have you ever trodden on one of those things? They make this awful crunching noise. It's like murdering a packet of crisps.
Oh, don't.
If that thing's not pushing up daisies in 5 seconds, I'll have to go. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Look at you. Rambo and Robin the Boy Wonder. Passing bricks at the side of a little arthropod.
Sheila, what are you going to do?
What do you think I'm going to do?
Oh, no, hang on. Sheila.
God.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, poor thing.
Ah, I take it you've heard? We've got them back again. The dreaded vermin, cockroaches. Mind you, only the one sighting so far. Worrying though, apparently it was dressed as a porter, almost got in unrecognised.
What?
Well, exactly.
You two heard yet? I've got him back again.
The roaches, yes. Funnily enough, I was just very nearly discussing it with Simon.
He's still scribbling away on that notepad.
My word, I'd love to have seen it.
What?
Well, apparently the little pest was found in your theatre. I mean, the idea of a certain female surgeon perched up on a stool, screaming blue murder while you scooped the thing up, must have been wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
Although, of course, Sister tells me it wasn't quite like that.
All right. I can't stand the grubby little things. Can you?
I believe if they scared the pants off Sheila Sabatini, I'd be prepared to put up with them.
Yeah. Do you mind them? I'm sorry. Simon, what are you writing in that thing? You've been beavering away for weeks now. The most anyone ever gets out is oh, what, and sorry.
I believe I had pardon once.
What is it?
Well, if you must know, I'm writing a textbook on anaesthetics.
Oh, for Pete's sake, not another one.
How do you mean?
My dear fellow, Everyone has written a book on anaesthetics. People who aren't anaesthetists have written books on anaesthetics.
Milkmen have written books on anaesthetics.
There are hundreds of the blasted things.
Anaesthetic drugs, anaesthetic equipment,
Anaesthetic techniques.
the correct underpants to wear whilst giving an anaesthetic.
Anesthesia in Burgersdorf, Burundi and Bukachacha.
What makes you think there's a gap in the market for another one?
Well, I've had quite a good advance from the publishers, and one of the drug companies has asked for a run of 3,000 to give away to anaesthetists. Plus, the postgraduate teaching committee saw a synopsis, and they want to use it as the standard textbook on our anaesthetic course. Oh, plus it'll go on general sale to the public. I mean, if that's not a gap, it's quite a reasonable crack.
Good Lord.
Joyce, this is supposed to be a modern hospital, not a Charing Cross soup kitchen.
I know, it's not my fault. We'd all been hoping they wouldn't get this far.
How do you mean?
Well, keep it under your hat, but they have had slight trouble with cockroaches in other parts of the hospital. 2 in outpatients, 1 in the GU clinic, and 26 in the staff canteen.
26?
I know, it's incredible. If there's one place where I thought they'd all get killed off. Are you sure it was a cockroach?
It was a cockroach.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, what?
well, I know if this gets out, it may attract a few journalists, but I thought you might do something slightly more than touch up your nail varnish.
Sheila, we've done all we can. We've called the pest control people and they just can't come straight away.
Why not?
They're doing all the other hospitals in the area. Anyway, I'm not touching up my nails, clever Dick. I've got a hole in my tights and I'm trying to stop it laddering.
You amaze me, do you know that?
Why?
You sit in that office of yours, all dolled up like a Christmas cake, and every time you go down the corridor, you have to whip it all off and put on theatre gear, which you could quite simply keep on all the time.
Keep it on? No shoulder pads? No colour coordination? There's only me left.
All right, come on, come on. Let's see what you got.
Now listen, if you're going to make jokes, I'd rather do it myself.
Now, you know this is red.
Oh, well, I got it off Cheryl, that's all she had.
All right. My God. It's like painting the Forth Bridge. Joyce! Oh, no. Oh, come on.
I didn't ask for your help anyway.
If I'd said the Golden Gate Bridge.
Sheila, have you ever thought about writing a book?
About what?
I don't know. Any old rubbish, really. Just to rake in some cash. The medical textbook market is enormous.
Yes, I know, but surely if you're going to write a book about something, you have to have something to say, something new, original.
I don't see why. Any old rubbish has done perfectly well up to now.
Yes, I suppose it depends on your motive for writing, really.
I don't follow.
Well, if your only motive for writing is cash, then to publish a book with any new ideas has to be fatal.
Why?
Because all the old ideas were formulated by the medical profession. They're hardly going to buy a book that says they got it all wrong. They're a bunch of clodpoles.
No.
On the other hand, if you're not interested in cash, publish a few new ideas, criticise all the old ones, and quite possibly make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Then you leave the profession because no one wants to work with you. Then you lecture on the QE2, sell your story to the Sunday papers, and cash comes pouring in anyway.
Yeah. It's a bit damn complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. 1 egg and cress. I'll have the cheese salad. And I got you a pasty and a cream bun. All right?
No, it's not all right. I asked for egg and cress, same as Jonathan.
Sheila, how can anyone as skinny as you ask for egg and cress? You're a bag of bones.
I am not.
Of course you are. That's Jonathan.
Look, why are we eating here anyway? What's wrong with the canteen?
Let's just say there are 26 good reasons not.
23.
37
more under the fridge.
33
Trying to keep it quiet. There's no health risk to the patients.
What about the health risks of the people who work
The
here?
staff canteen has always been a health risk to the people who work here. Maybe now they'll do something about it.
Sheila, cockroaches are dirty. They spread germs.
I know.
And if you remember, we found one slap bang in the middle of our operating theatre this morning. Now, maybe they live in the staff canteen. Maybe that one was just having a day out with their kids. But this is supposed to be a clean area.
Which is why I've asked for the pest control people as soon as possible. In the meantime, upstairs want to keep it quiet, because if the press gets wind of this, we'll have swarms of them crawling all over the place. Well, Joyce has made me swear to keep it under my hat, so now I'm asking you to do the same.
All right.
Thank you.
It's disgusting.
What is?
Well, Joyce made me swear to keep it under my hat. But apparently the staff canteen is swarming with cockroaches.
Joyce told you?
Well, yes. But you've got to keep it quiet because if word gets out...
33, so I'm told.
My dear chap, I had lunch at that place. Why didn't someone tell me?
Yes, well, apparently Joyce is asking everyone to keep it under their hat. I mean, if word got round...
Oh, for God's sake!
If you ask me, it's damn scandalous.
Look, there's nothing to worry about. They've only found one in theatre so far.
I beg your pardon. I'd say there's a good deal to worry about. We're facing a major health hazard.
Not to mention all the female members of staff being in a state of near hysteria.
Well, quite.
Absolute rubbish. You're the ones flying into a panic.
Panic.
My dear woman, anyone whose brother-in-law has a guest house in Torremolinos does not panic at the sight of a cockroach.
One is simply concerned for the female sensibilities.
Apart from which, these creatures are filthy scavengers. And as far as I'm concerned, one cockroach in this operating complex is one cockroach too many.
2.
What?
2. There's another one over there. Sheila, this is getting beyond a joke. We'll have to do something.
All right.
Yes, I'll get Joyce.
No, it's all right, old boy. Actually, I'm just going that way myself.
No need to, George. If you'd rather finish your coffee...
No, my dear chap, it's no trouble.
Jane, it's Giles. Hello. Listen, about this all-night hip-hop get-down and party thrash over at Oscar's flat tonight. Yes, kind of a problem. But I was on call over the weekend and I haven't actually slept for 56 hours already.
It's all right. Miss Sabatini squashed it.
I'd like to go. I mean, you know me. Old slinky hips. But I think it might be better if I just go home and go straight to bed. Oh. No, not that tired. Yeah, fine. Well.
Slinky hips.
Excuse me. So, basically, that's how it works. Any questions? Yes.
That's the expiratory valve.
That's right.
So the anaesthetic gases come along this tube into the patient, and when the patient exhales, it comes out through this valve.
Right.
So what happens if you accidentally leave the valve closed?
Well, you don't.
I mean, the gas is still going into the patient, but it can't get out.
But you always make sure that the valve is open.
But what would happen if you didn't?
Well, the patient will get bigger and bigger, and then something would give out, and then you'd hear this noise like a bath emptying as he or she shot off up the corridor. All right, that'll do for now. Come on. There's always one.
It does happen. I've seen it.
Yes, I know, but not often.
The reservoir bag fills up like a football.
Yes, but someone always notices.
What would happen if no one did notice?
For God's sake, don't you start.
Well?
There's nothing there.
But it has to be there. I saw it scuttle behind this cabinet. It jumped off the leg of that chair, went across the floor, over the computer cable.
Found the clue, got back in the helicopter.
It was a cockroach.
Look for yourself, there's nothing.
I'm not looking. If I'd been happy to look for myself, I wouldn't have asked you to come in and look for me in the first
Don't
place.
you think we'd be better employed ringing that number again? Tell them tomorrow afternoon is not soon enough. They've got to come in now and start spraying.
I've tried that. They said they've got to do the most urgent cases first.
Well, this is urgent. We found 5 of the blasted things already. 1 in my operating theatre, 2 in the corridor, 1 in here and 1 in the restroom.
Well, apparently it's not enough.
How do you mean?
The Wycliffe have found 13 in their theatres. They're beating us by 8 cockroaches.
So what are we supposed to do? Nip down to the canteen and ask if we can borrow a couple of dozen?
I don't know.
Anyway, the Wycliffe is a private hospital. We're NHS. Surely we get priority. You did tell them we're NHS?
Yes.
And?
They said they're not surprised we've got cockroaches.
Right. She's give me that number. I'm not having some jumped up...
No, you'll only make things worse.
No,
you know what you're like.
Joyce!
Excuse me. Joyce, have you got the address of the people who make anaesthetic machines?
What do you want that for?
Oh, it's just something I'm working on. So I get in touch with them, you know, see what they think.
What kind of idea?
What kind of idea?
All right. If you must know, it's a kind of foolproof expiratory valve. I mean, say you're giving an anaesthetic and you accidentally leave the valve closed.
But you don't, ever.
No, not on
No,
purpose.
what I meant was it hardly ever happens.
Well, not often, no, but when it does happen, the gases build up.
But someone always notices.
Well, just say they didn't notice.
They always do.
Well, just say they didn't, for Pete's sake. You asked me to explain this.
All right. So?
Right. So the pressure builds up and it could damage the patient's lungs. So I've got this idea for a spring device so that when the pressure does build up, the valve automatically opens and the gas rushes out, alerting the anaesthetist.
Alerting the anaesthetist? How exactly?
You have this kettle whistle on the top.
Kettle whistle?
It makes sense. I'm inventing something they've already got the machinery to make.
Yes. Jonathan, don't you think it's going to look rather strange? An anaesthetic machine with oxygen cylinders on one side and a goblin tease made on the other.
Sheila, I'm only using the basic kettle whistle design. I'm not suggesting you leave the little knob on the end in a choice of 8 delightful fluorescent colours.
And you're doing this all in the interest of patient safety, are you?
Well, in a nutshell, no. I'm doing it because I can't think of anything to write a book about. And I'm fed up of people making a few quid on the side while I'm not.
I see.
Well, everybody else is doing it.
Jonathan, Simon Field is writing a serious, informative book, not reconstructing Thomas the Tank Engine.
All right, look at Angus McBeanie. The McBeanie Pulse Monitor.
It doesn't work. It couldn't find the pulse on an octopus.
Exactly. It's a pile of rubbish. He's still flogged enough to pay for a 28-foot motor cruiser.
Oh, and I suppose you approve of that.
Well, no. But the point is that my idea will work.
I'm sure it will. Always assuming you're halfway through an operation and you fancy a quick pot of Earl Grey.
What's up? Thank God you're here. It's just crawled out from under that cabinet. Now listen, if I give you this, you go over and give it one quick...
Sorry.
What?
Sorry.
Jonathan!
Invention? Yes, apparently Jonathan's got some revolutionary idea for something or other.
He told you?
Good Lord, no. It's all hush-hush, deadly secret. Joyce told me.
I see. Well, of course, it can be extremely lucrative. Invented something myself once, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Oh, yes. Surgical retractor. It was slightly similar to a Langenbeck. But mine had the advantage of these knobbly bits on the side.
Oh, what for?
You know, I can't remember. Anyway, didn't catch on.
Any idea why?
Well, for some reason, people seem to think the knobbly bits got in the way.
Ah.
You ever tried coming up with something?
Funnily enough, no. To be honest, you may find this difficult to believe, but deep down I'm actually quite lazy.
Good God!
Of course, I do have one or two quite stunning ideas I should like to contribute to medical science.
Really?
Oh, yes, I just can't be bothered.
Well, quite.
Sheila, every day of the week, you surgeons and physicians trump in some new piece of equipment. The extracorporeal shockwave lithotripter, the answer to life, the universe and everything.
Jonathan, that is different. That machine is a giant advance in non-interventional surgery.
Yes, it is. And I bet the bloke who invented it is right this minute, lying in the south of France thinking, my God, that was a nice little earner, that one.
Rubbish.
Well, maybe not. Just because I'm honest and say I'd like to make some money out of something I've invented doesn't mean to say that's the only reason I'm doing it.
So what's the other one? The chance of some perch from Typhoon 1 Cup?
Sheila, who invented the Spencer Wells forceps?
Jim Davidson.
No, come on. I'm serious. Who was it?
All right, then Spencer Wells, sir.
And who was Spencer Wells?
Well, he was an obstetrician or something.
Exactly. Or something. The one thing that Spencer Wells is not famous for is for being whatever it was he was. What that name means to us is a little pair of forceps we all use every day.
So you want to be famous?
No, not famous. I'd just like to leave my mark on the profession. Wouldn't you like your name to live on for years to come? Not that it'll be forgotten for a couple of hundred anyway.
I know what you mean. Some new technique, some special way of doing something.
Exactly.
Can you come and stamp on another cockroach?
Jonathan, is this yours? I found it on one of the trolleys.
Yeah, it's a new idea I'm working on.
So I see a kind of foolproof expiratory valve.
Yeah, I mean, say you're giving an anaesthetic and you accidentally leave the valve closed.
But is it worth it? That hardly ever happens, surely.
Never mind.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just think it's a bit, well, Heath Robinson.
You mean it won't work?
No.
Of course it'll work. It's bound to.
Sheila, if I can make one up tonight in my shed, I'll bring it in tomorrow and I'll show you.
All right. And if it works, I will give you £10.
You're on. And if it doesn't work, I'll give you 10.
Right.
And I'll bet £10 it won't work either.
Well, you said just now it would work.
Oh, I was just being polite. Wouldn't put money on it.
Stone me.
Morning.
Morning. There aren't any, I checked.
I wasn't worried anyway.
Want some coffee?
Oh, yes, please.
Morning.
You look like an American footballer.
They're too big.
Joyce, what on earth possessed you to do that?
Vanity, what do you think?
Well, well, it works.
Works?
It works. I've tried it.
We didn't even know you were here.
No, I came in early to try it out.
And it works.
Perfectly.
What works?
Well, where is it? It's in there.
No, that's it.
What? This is a foolproof expiratory valve.
Ah, no, I couldn't get that to work. But this works.
Well, what is it?
It's a trap for cockroaches.